What if I told you the ultimate blueprint for the city of the future isn't being drawn up in, Silicon Valley or New York? It's actually in a 77,000-person suburb in Indiana.
Right, which sounds totally counterintuitive at first.
Yeah, completely.
Yeah.
I mean, if you've ever sat in bumper-to-bumper traffic on a Tuesday morning, just staring at taillights, you already know the classic commuter model is broken.
Oh, absolutely broken.
Historically, the flow of energy in a metropolitan area is, it's like a giant magnet. The big city is the center, and the suburban towns are just iron shavings.
Right.
They get pulled toward the urban core every morning at 8 a.m. and then pushed back out to sleep every evening at 6 p.m.
Exactly. The suburb has fundamentally operated as a waiting room for the city. I mean, it was designed for rest, not for economic generation.
Right.
But observing the landscape in the year 2026, we are seeing a structural collapse of that old magnetic pull. The suburbs are building their own localized gravity wells.
Yeah.
And in some cases, those new economic centers are actively overpowering the traditional downtowns they used to serve.
Which brings us to our deep dive today. Welcome to the show. We are asking a highly specific question for you today. What exactly makes a modern American suburb absolutely boom in 2026?
It's a fascinating question.
We are going to reverse engineer a highly successful modern community to understand the underlying mechanics of its growth. Our primary source material today is this comprehensive 2026 Real Estate and Neighborhood Guide by realtor Cara Conde,
Yes.
and it focuses entirely on Noblesville, Indiana. For those who don't know, this is a city sitting on the White River, about 25 to 35 minutes north of downtown Indianapolis.
And the value of this specific guide, I mean, why we're looking at it, is that it provides a micro-level view of these macroeconomic trends.
Right.
We're dissecting how a mid-sized town balances historic preservation with massive, deliberate technological innovation. It really serves as a masterclass in modern civic engineering.
Totally. And to really understand how Noblesville is pulling this off, we have to look at the raw momentum. The demographic shifts detailed in the source are just staggering.
They really are.
We are looking at a current population of 77,244, but it's experiencing a 1.66% annual population increase.
Which is huge for that region.
Right, that is rapid expansion. And the crucial data point here, the one that really stood out to me, is the median household income. It has officially crossed the $110,000 threshold.
Yeah, and that's the indicator right there. When a town of that size crosses the $110,000 median income mark, it indicates a structural shift in the local economy.
How so?
Well, we're no longer looking at organic, multi-generational population growth. That specific metric points to a targeted, highly intentional influx of high-earning professionals.
Okay.
The town is essentially importing wealth.
But the way they're capturing that wealth presents this really interesting juxtaposition. On paper, they have the income of a burgeoning tech hub.
Right.
Visually, however, they are leaning heavily into their 19th century roots. Like the guide highlights the historic downtown square, the classic Hamilton County Courthouse, and all these tree-lined streets filled with Victorian and craftsman homes.
It's a very specific aesthetic.
Yeah, and they're even doubling down on it. They have this $8 million downtown revitalization and an Embrace Downtown project that funds community events like First Fridays and farmers markets.
They are actively subsidizing the preservation of a 19th and 20th century aesthetic while courting 21st century industry.
Exactly. And I can see the appeal of a beautiful historic downtown, obviously, but I have to wonder about the underlying mechanics here.
Sure.
With a $110,000 median income and rapid growth, people are moving for jobs and housing. I mean, it's like retrofitting a vintage car with a brand new electric engine.
That's a great way to put it.
So is this historic charm actually an economic driver? Or is it just the visual wrapping paper for a town that essentially serves as a new corporate hub?
Oh, it functions as a critical economic anchor. It's not just a visual amenity.
Really?
Yeah. When a municipality injects massive amounts of tech money and rapid development into a relatively small geographic footprint, the greatest risk is that the town becomes a sterile, newly manufactured tech park.
Ah, right. It becomes generic.
Exactly. It risks feeling soulless and entirely transient. What Noblesville has successfully done is use its history to artificially engineer a sense of small-town warmth.
So the historic architecture acts as a counterbalance to the new construction.
Yes.
It prevents the area from feeling like, I don't know, an airport terminal where people only exist temporarily.
Precisely. Aesthetic retention is crucial for drawing the specific demographic driving that median income up.
Okay, that makes sense.
High-earning young professionals in 2026, they no longer accept convenience as a substitute for character. They demand a sense of place.
Right. They want the coffee shops and the brick walkways.
Yeah, because if the city only offered a concrete grid of new builds and glass offices, it would fail to capture the long-term commitment of those workers.
Interesting.
The $8 million downtown revitalization isn't just about making the sidewalks look nice. It's a calculated civic investment to signal stability and permanence to private wealth.
Wow, okay. That reframes the historic charm entirely. It's an engineered retention strategy for human capital. But that localized gravity, well, we talked about earlier, the thing actually generating this human capital in the first place, requires serious hardware.
It does.
If the historic square is the anchor, what is the engine? Because according to the source, the engine is a 600-acre master-planned tech and entrepreneur hub they're calling the Innovation Mile.
The scale of Innovation Mile is what really separates Noblesville from a traditional suburb.
600 acres is massive.
It is. They aren't just zoning for a few co-working spaces or a regional office park.
No, they are pulling in major corporate and cultural heavyweights. The guide notes that Caterpillar is relocating its high-tech operation to Noblesville.
Right.
But it goes beyond advanced manufacturing. Like USA Gymnastics chose Noblesville for its new Olympic Training and Wellness Center.
Which is a huge cultural win.
Huge. And they also built the arena, which serves as the brand new home for the Indiana Pacers G League team.
Yeah.
And for you listening, if you might not follow basketball, the G League is the NBA's official minor league. That means the town didn't just build a community rec center. They installed serious, professional-grade athletic infrastructure and all the media ecosystem that comes with it.
And by clustering advanced engineering, Olympic-level wellness facilities, and professional sports into a single 600-acre zone, the city is executing the holy grail of modern urban design.
Which,
The 15-minute lifestyle.
ah,
The concept is that a resident can work a high-tech job, access world-class entertainment, and return to their historic home, all within a hyper-localized geographic footprint.
you know, it reminds me of the underlying mechanics in the video game SimCity.
Oh, I love that game.
Right, when you build a virtual city, you quickly realize you can't just zone for endless residential blocks. Your city will just stagnate.
Yep, you run out of money.
Exactly. To level up your economy and keep your citizens happy, you eventually have to drop a massive stadium and a high-tech industrial hub directly into the map to generate local tax revenue.
Yeah.
Noblesville is essentially playing out that exact zoning strategy in the real world.
It's an excellent analogy because it highlights the necessity of balanced zoning. However, the real-world application requires a much more delicate handling of infrastructure.
Which is exactly where I see a potential flaw in this blueprint.
Oh.
Yeah, because the source aggressively promotes this true 15 to 20-minute lifestyle where everything is frictionless. But if you take a town of 77,000 people and just drop a 600-acre tech hub, an Olympic training center, and a pro sports arena into the middle of it,
I see where you're going with this.
doesn't that inherently destroy the quiet ease they're trying to sell? I mean, it seems like injecting that much commercial density would turn a 15-minute lifestyle into a perpetual massive traffic jam.
Well, that is the most common failure point for rapidly expanding cities. And the solution lies in the fundamental difference between organic urban sprawl and master-planned containment.
Master-planned containment.
Right. In the traditional 20th century model, suburbs grew organically and haphazardly. A residential subdivision goes up on the east side, a commercial strip mall on the west, and everyone is forced onto the same two-lane arterial highway to commute.
Right, which creates the friction and traffic.
Exactly.
Because the infrastructure is constantly playing catch-up to the development.
You hit the nail on the head.
No?
But developments like Innovation Mile are designed specifically to contain the footprint from day one.
Okay.
By bringing the big city economic drivers directly to the local area, the city actively alters regional traffic patterns.
Oh, so?
Instead of 40,000 residents leaving Noblesville at 8 a.m. to commute south to Indianapolis, a significant percentage of those residents are doing a reverse commute.
Oh, wow.
Or better yet, a localized commute. They are driving 5 minutes down the road.
So they're essentially trapping the kinetic energy of the town inside its own borders.
They are. And because the commercial hubs are master planned concurrently with the road networks and the adjacent housing, they aren't forcing massive commercial traffic onto small residential streets.
Right, it's all built to handle it.
It's a self-contained ecosystem designed to handle the exact capacity it generates.
Okay, But if that localized gravity well is effectively capturing all the local wealth, the natural consequence should be a skyrocketing cost of living.
You would think so.
Right. But the real estate microclimates detailed in Cara Conde's guide challenge everything we expect from a booming tech market.
They really do.
The median home price in Noblesville in 2026 sits between $383,000 and $400,000. It's seeing a steady 1.8 to 2.4% year-over-year appreciation.
Which is very sustainable.
Very. The overall cost of living is 8 to 10% below the national average, and property taxes are highly competitive compared to neighboring suburbs.
A $400,000 median home price in a market with a $110,000 median income is an incredibly healthy ratio.
It seems like it.
It represents a level of affordability that is almost entirely absent from traditional tech hubs.
And the spectrum of properties available is just massive. The guide details listings ranging from a $255,000 three-bedroom condo on Silverleaf Drive all the way up to a 15,500 square foot estate on Greenfield Avenue listed for $1.75 million.
Quite the spread.
It is. This widespread creates distinct microclimates of neighborhoods, like you have the Morse Reservoir waterfront, which offers luxury estates with private boat docks.
Beautiful area.
Yeah. Then you have Lochaven and Twin Oaks providing high-end family communities. Wellington and Finch Creek offer modern, master-planned living with integrated trails.
Right.
And then you have brand new construction going up directly adjacent to the Innovation Mile for tech workers who want a literally zero-minute commute to the arena.
The civic planning behind these hyper-segmented microclimates is quite brilliant, actually.
Why is that?
By pre-zoning distinct areas for specific lifestyles, waterfront luxury, historic walkability, or tech-adjacent smart homes, the city prevents community infighting over neighborhood identity.
Oh, that makes total sense. It's like a choose-your-own-adventure book for adult home buyers.
Exactly.
There is a specific engineered zone for whatever lifestyle you want. But the economic math here feels like it has an expiration date.
How do you mean?
Well, we've seen what happens in California and Texas when tech and sports facilities move in, right?
Yeah.
Housing prices inevitably skyrocket and just push out the middle class.
True.
If the median income is surging and major corporations are arriving, how does Noblesville maintain this affordability paradox? Is the 1.8 to 2.4% appreciation just the calm before a massive spike?
It is the defining challenge of modern urban economics, frankly. How to grow the economy without pricing out the residents.
Right.
The reason Noblesville is maintaining that affordability paradox and why that 1.8 to 2.4% growth is actually the hallmark of a controlled, sustainable market rather than a pending bubble comes down to the mechanics of concurrent infrastructure and housing supply.
Wait, so by intentionally zoning massive residential blocks simultaneously with the commercial zones, they are essentially building a pressure release valve into their own real estate market.
That is the exact mechanism. In older, organically grown cities, new, wealthy buyers arrive and have to fight over existing, limited, historic inventory.
Which causes bidding wars.
Exactly. That bidding war drives prices to the moon. But in Noblesville, the city is aggressively expanding its physical footprint to meet the new demand.
Yeah.
If you move there with a high-paying tech salary, you don't have to outbid a local family for a 1950s ranch house. The city has already permitted and built a brand new master-planned community near your office.
So they are scaling the housing supply on the exact same timeline as the job creation.
Precisely.
They aren't waiting for the jobs to arrive and then scrambling to build homes 3 years later when prices have already doubled.
Exactly. By maintaining a continuous expansion of new inventory, they absorb the incoming wealth. This keeps the property taxes manageable for existing residents and ensures long-term value stability rather than, volatile boom and bust spikes.
Okay, but cheap housing and a short commute only solve the logistical side of the equation. Humans don't just work and sleep.
Very true.
If you don't give a 30-year-old engineer a reason to spend their weekend in town, they will take that $110,000 salary straight to the nearest major city on Friday night.
Yep, they'll leave.
The economic engine leaks. How does Noblesville capture the cultural capital to keep people locked into the community?
They have to engineer a social fabric that rivals the urban core. A suburb functioning as its own economic center must provide a full-spectrum lifestyle.
And the source material shows they are doing exactly that. But they aren't just dropping in generic chain restaurants to fill out strip malls.
No, definitely not.
The amenities are highly curated. The guide highlights an incredibly diverse dining and retail scene. We're talking about places like 9th Street Bistro, which is an open table tap 100 spot.
Right.
Plus Rosie's Place, The Nest, Matteo's Ristorante Italiano, Slatfish, and Ford's Garage.
Yeah.
And it mentions unique spots like Spencer Farm Winery, handles homemade ice cream, and boutiques like the Wild Bohemian.
It's quite the lineup.
It is.
Oh.
And the recreational infrastructure is equally deliberate. They have Forest Park Golf Course with a literal 1920s carousel.
That's a great historic touch.
Yeah, and massive trail networks like the White River Greenway, Strawtown Kotiwi Park Trails, and the legendary Ruoff Music Center for stadium-level concerts. And they just rolled out a new 2026 Parks and Recreation Master Plan to expand green space even further.
It is a calculated deployment of cultural assets designed to artificially engineer an organic-feeling entertainment district.
Right. But the most potent anchor seems to be the education system.
Oh, without a doubt.
Noblesville schools are ranked in the top 20 statewide. Noblesville High School ranks 31st in the state, boasting a 98% graduation rate and heavily funded STEM programs.
Those school metrics are the ultimate retention tool.
Really? The ultimate tool?
Yes, a 98% graduation rate and robust STEM funding aren't just community bragging rights. They are a direct pipeline for a tech-heavy local economy.
Oh, I see.
You're essentially training the next generation of your own workforce while simultaneously convincing your current workforce to lay down permanent roots once they start families.
Wow. Looking at this complete picture, the historic aesthetic, the open-table restaurants, the 98% graduation rate, it feels almost too perfectly aligned.
It's very intentional.
It's as if the town curated its amenities to hit every single demographic target flawlessly on a Pinterest board.
Oh.
But it brings up a chicken and egg scenario regarding civic development.
Okay, what's that?
Did the high-income tech workers arrive and use their tax dollars to build top-tier schools and attract global bistros? Or did the town build the top-tier schools and bistros as the initial bait to catch the tech workers?
That's the million-dollar question. It operates as a continuous, self-sustaining feedback loop of civic development.
Okay.
It rarely starts with the high-end bistros. The initial catalyst is usually baseline safety and education.
Right.
The guide specifically notes Noblesville maintains some of the lowest crime rates in Hamilton County. That foundational safety, combined with strong baseline schools, acts as the initial draw for the early waves of professional talent.
So the safe neighborhoods catch the first wave of wealth.
Yes. And once that initial talent arrives, bringing that elevated median income, their consumer behavior shifts the local market.
Right.
They begin demanding higher-end dining, boutique retail, and sophisticated recreation. As private businesses open to capture that specific demand, the commercial tax base expands significantly.
I see the loop now. That new commercial tax revenue from the bistros and boutiques is then pumped directly back into the schools to fund the advanced STEM programs.
Exactly.
And back into the historic preservation project.
You've got it. The foundational bait catches the talent funds the aesthetic and cultural upgrades, and those upgrades become even more potent bait for the next larger wave of corporate relocation.
Like Caterpillar or the Olympic Training Center.
Precisely. For anyone listening and evaluating a new area for investment or relocation, this interconnected loop of safety, commercial tax expansion, and civic reinvestment is the precise mechanism you should be looking for.
It's the golden ticket.
It really is.
Yeah.
It is the definitive indicator of a forward-moving, autonomous local economy.
So, bringing all of these mechanics together, what we are observing in Noblesville, Indiana in 2026 isn't a town that simply got lucky with a few corporate contracts.
Not at all.
We are looking at a highly intentional, meticulously engineered civic anatomy. They have constructed an economic engine powered by advanced tech and professional sports.
Yep.
They have deployed concurrent infrastructure to create a diverse housing market that actively defuses the affordability paradox.
Which is huge.
And they have bound it all together with a social fabric of top-tier STEM education and curated cultural amenities that prevents their wealth from leaking back to the major city. It is a masterclass in modern suburban evolution.
It is a highly effective blueprint. But if we pull back and examine the macro implications of this model, it presents a profound structural question for the broader American landscape.
What's that?
Well, if a mid-sized suburb like Noblesville can successfully engineer a localized gravity well offering Olympic facilities, a 600-acre tech hub, global dining, and a fully contained 15-minute lifestyle where residents never actually need to leave, what is the downstream effect on the traditional major city?
Oh, man. That is the million-dollar question.
It is the pivotal unknown right now.
Yeah.
If the suburb is capable of providing every economic and cultural necessity, the classic commuter relationship we discussed at the beginning doesn't just stall, it completely reverses. We have to ask if we are entering an era where these hyper-engineered suburbs become the true cultural and economic centers of the country, leaving the old traditional urban downtowns to function as the new waiting rooms.
That completely flips the map upside down. The giant magnet of the big city isn't just broken. Towns like Noblesville are actively reversing the polarity.
They really are.
For everyone listening, take a close look at the zoning board meetings, the infrastructure plans, and the commercial developments happening in your own backyard.
Definitely.
The blueprints that will redefine the next decade of American life are likely being drawn up just down the street. Keep questioning the mechanics of the changing world around you. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive.